Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. Now today I want to have a look at something a little different, and that is a vintage ration. Now this one is from the US and it's a 2003, so it's coming up to 18 years old. This particular one is the old menu 9 pot roast with vegetables. So let's get this on a table and see what this pack contains. So as you can see, and I have here laid out on the table this US vintage 2003 menu 19. I think on the intro I did say menu 9, but it is actually menu 19, the pot roast with vegetables. Now this is made by the Sopaco company. The vendor told me he got it out of a new case dated 2003, but he has no idea of the storage conditions. This was purchased in the UK, obviously travelled from the US, and he has no idea where it was stored or how in between. So it'll be interesting to see how this near 18-year-old ration has survived. So as always, has the peelable seal. So just hope that works. Sometimes if you get them right on the seal and good firm tug, they works. This is the first time this has seen daylight in 18 years. So what have we got with this pot roast with vegetables? Now straight off the bat we have the customary crackers, and we have the date code of 3198, so 198th day of 2003. So it looks like the vendor was telling me the truth there. So there is some crackers. We also have a simplistic accessory pack containing some Tabasco sauce, some sugar, some matches. Looks like there is coffee, non-dairy creamer, the usual sort of, is that ketchup? That may be some ketchup in there. There's something red or sauce. We shall have a look when we open that. But nice to see a vintage ration. The US MRE spoon, obviously been in there for a very long time. We again have an FRH. I doubt very much that would still function. The modern ones don't seem to work very well, so I'm sure an 18-year-old one would struggle. What we have here is an oatmeal cookie. It does feel like it's broken in half, or there might be two in there, but some oatmeal cookies. There is a little cocoa beverage powder. It's the first time I've had one of those. It'll be interesting to see if it survived. And of course the cheese spread, 18-year-old cheese spread. We also have here the mains, which is the beef roast with vegetables, and it has a lot of information about military rations for good performance on the back there. And last but not least, we have some spiced apples. So this is the contents of this vintage 2003 US MRE. So let's get these out on a tray and see what they look and possibly taste like. And as you can see, I now have the contents of this vintage 2003 American MRE, menu number 19. This is the pot roast with vegetables. Now to say, I've actually spent 10 minutes boiling the roast beef with vegetables. The packet looks a little bit delaminated. Obviously I'm not going to take too many risks with these. If it looks too bad, I shan't be eating much. I don't fancy botulism. We've also got this spiced apples, which I've just got to one side there. So first off, let's have a look at this 248th day of 2003 accessory pack. So contains a Taster's Choice coffee. I've never tried one of these. feels a little bit compromised, and let's hope that it's in good condition. I'd like to try one of those. The vintage coffee. We have a creamer, non-dairy. The TP. Let's hope I won't be needing these later. But after 18 years, who knows? There is some iodized salt, just in case. We also have a moist towelette. It'll be interesting to see how moist that is after all this time. We have a box of book matches, red tip, just put those to one side. There is a 4-gram pack of sugar, the mint gum, which still feels quite firm, try those, and the old style Tabasco sauce, which again I don't think I'll be using. I think I'll be keeping that more as a little collector's item now, but it is nice to actually get. Move that to one side. So let's have a look. There is no cold drink, I notice, so I should be having a bit of water. But first off, let's have a look at this Taster's Choice coffee, made by Nestles or Nestle, depending on what part of the world you're from. I do hope this isn't compromised. I've seen this spoken about many times, never tried one. Oh, that unfortunately is going nowhere. It is compromised. I have no idea. No idea of the storage conditions this has been in. It could have been to the Gulf and back. Who knows? But the coffee has certainly gone. So there's very little point. The sugar feels fine, and so does the creamer. But without the coffee, there's very little point. So we'll just put that to one side. Or let's just, because this is a vintage one, let's open it anyway, just to have a look. Did the creamer survive? So we'll open it up. The creamer looks like it's still in perfect condition, no lumps or clumps, so the creamer survived 18 years. And as I say, the sugar sounds okay, so let's just see if that survived also. Oh. Both the creamer and the sugar look fine. I think it's a real shame the Taster's Choice let it down. That would have made an interesting cup of coffee, but without the coffee there's very little chance of me making that up. So I'm just going to bring in some water to refresh my palate. And we'll move on to the next one. So we have here a cocoa beverage powder. This can also be made hot, so maybe I will get a hot drink after all, and it calls for 6 fluid ounces or a quarter of a canteen cup of water. So I'm going to empty those powders out of the cup and we shall go back. Now the packet looks like it's slightly delaminating. I don't know if you can see there's a bit of delamination going on some of these packs. So 18-year-old cocoa powder, has that survived? That's looking pretty good at this stage. Pour that in the mug. Looking good, nice and fine, no clumping. So we'll just now bring in the hot water. Give that a good old mix, fingers crossed. I do have a little bit of a cold today. I apologise if I'm sounding a little bit croaky. Winter's back, and as all winters, soon as the winter comes, so do the colds and the flus and the croaky throats. That looks like it's mixed very well. We shall keep going round. We'll have a look at this oatmeal cookie made by Sterling. Again, let's hope this has survived 18 years. Tough packaging. Looks like there was 2 cookies They do seem a little bit, one's a little bit broken, a little bit smashed. But there was 2 cookies in there. I can smell cinnamon. It does feel a little bit soft. Let me just break that. That does feel a little bit soft for the regular oatmeal cookies I've tried. Crackers. 18-year-old US MRE cracker. Will it still have a hiss? Let's bring it near the camera. Hopefully we can hear a hiss. Oh, very nice hiss. Hopefully that's a good sign. So these would be the old style crackers. I believe they used to be salted. There is a salt glint. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of a glaze. I'll flick it in the camera wherever you pick it up, but there's like a little salt glaze. They do look good. They do look in good condition. We also have some spiced apples from the 161st day of 2003, and just because I have and just because I can, I'm going to bring in a little bowl for the spiced apples just to keep everything clean and it's easier for you to see on a white background. So, spiced apples, 18 years old, love saying that. Oh. Some delamination in the pack. I'm not sure what these are supposed to have looked like before, whether they should have been eaten hot or cold, but certainly interesting for want of a better word. They do smell of a cinnamon spice. 18-year-old cheese spread. Let's move the salt and peppers out of the way for now. So give it a bit of a knead. Feels soft. It's the smell I'm anticipating. Does it smell like it's been in there 18 years? The packet open nice. The colour. Wow, that smells a little bit funky, for want of a better word. And the mains, beef stew with vegetables. This packet also feels like it's been delaminating. It doesn't feel like it's good. Bring in another bowl for these, and roast beef with vegetables. What have we got? Wow, absolutely huge amount of beef. Burning my hands. It is clumpy, very hot. Just very, very large pieces of beef there. Let's move it to one side. There's a little bit of black happening. I'm not sure what that is. Smells a little bit funky. Oh, there is some mushrooms. There is beef. Little bits of potato. Little bits of carrot. The beef looks soft, flaky, a little bit of a strange smell there. So I'm going to start off, I think, with probably the safest option, the hot beverage cocoa powder. So nice and chocolatey looking, smells okay. Chocolatey, rich. Not a hint wrong with that. That is a good quality drinking chocolate, 18 years old and still perfectly creamy. A lot of cocoa powder, a lot of sugar, nice, decent drinking chocolate. I'm just going to have a little palate cleanser. I think probably the next safest option will be these crackers, so I'm going to go with the crackers next. Nice crisp crack. Very crisp. No untoward smell. Crispy, crunchy, slightly salted, but again, 18 years old, perfectly edible. Absolutely nothing wrong with the crackers. So the crackers and the chocolate have survived. Now I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of this out into my bin first, so I get some of the main cheese rather than just the edge there. Now that doesn't look right. The colour is wrong. It should be bright yellow. That isn't bright yellow. It is a browny orange. There is a little black bit sitting in the corner there that came out of the packet. Oh, that smell. I'm just going to have a tiniest little taste of the edge. Taste wise, surprisingly, it tastes okay. That actually just tastes more mature than normal. That is all. I'm not going to risk eating anymore, but the actual taste, there is one or two little black bits which I'm not used to. I don't know if you can pick those up. So there is something going on in there, but the actual cheese itself just tastes a little bit more mature. It's a slightly darker colour, but it does taste fully edible. I'm not going to risk it because I'd be stupid to try, but that does taste and seem like you could eat the whole packet if you was desperate, starving and had no choice. Just refresh my palate one more time. Now this one might be the worst of them. Meat. How does meat stand up? I'm just going to take a tiny little taste. So there's a little bit of meat there with some bean. A little bit funky, a little bit chewy. But again, that tastes perfectly fine. How much am I willing to try? Let's try another little chunk of meat there. The meat is tender. It doesn't take a lot of chewing. Actually, there's no serious aftertaste. That does taste still perfectly edible. I've tried a couple of the potatoes there. Again, there is a slight taste, but what would you expect after all this time? But there is nothing untoward, no burning of the tongue, no strange odours, nothing to indicate that that is still not perfectly edible and still enjoyable. So let's just rinse my spoon. And move along to spiced apples. Now, I don't know what those bits are. I can see apple. I don't know if that's supposed to be a bit of crumble, a bit of pastry. But let's have a little bit of the apple, just a small taste. Again, I have no idea the conditions, so I put this in my mouth. It smells okay. Wow. You have to excuse me there. That one did require spitting out. Oh. Wow. That is the worst thing of all. That is rancid. It is acid. It tastes of rot. Mouldy socks. Didn't smell of it. All I could smell was a cinnamon type spice. But my word, the moment it entered your mouth, there is a world of hurt if you continue to eat that. I think that would put you in hospital, not the meat. That is very surprising. The cheese and the meat I think you could get away with, but it's the apple. The apple I think would put you in serious trouble and into hospital. I'm just going to have a little taste of this. Absolutely perfect. Now, you should have a look at one of these crackers. Sorry, the cookies. Cinnamon, dry, crispy, sweet, but again, apart from looking a little bit aged, taste absolutely fine. Just tastes like it's flour, sugar, cinnamon. Well, I've eaten a quarter of that one, no hesitation. I would quite happily eat all of those. So this has turned out to be a very surprising experiment. I would have thought the beef would have been the most risky, not the apple, but it's turned out to be the apple. Should have a look at the gum after all this time. Standard US style mint gum, 2 briquettes, still firm to the pinch, doesn't want to crush. Absolutely no difference to a fresh gum out of any modern US MRE. Again, the gum, fresh, minty, crispy, chewy, not soft, and in perfectly good shape. Last but not least, let's have a look how the moist towelette has stayed. That too is still wet after all this time, and in fact it feels better than the modern versions. There seems to be more moisture in there, no smell, it's wet, it's the same sort of easy tear paper, but the moisture content, I don't know if you can still see the moisture glistening. Don't know if the light's picking it up. See if I can get some on my finger there. Still lots of moisture, lots of use left in that towelette. So, seriously amazed at how good most of that has stood up 18 years. I have no idea of its storage conditions. I don't believe it's been frozen or anything like that. It has just been stored in a box, who knows where. How many countries it's been in and what the temperatures are like. And through all of that, the only thing I think that would put you in hospital would be the spiced apples. That's really surprised me, really shocking, and I've really enjoyed giving this a try. So, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button for future videos coming very soon. So thank you and goodbye.